the comments that this brother from the Dagger Squad said about the reason why African Americans don't look like Africans because we're all mixed. So I just want to play what he said, and then I'm gonna show you some different. I'm gonna show you some different African groups, as well as I'm gonna show you the first person who they consider to be the African. Okay, so I'm gonna just play it on.
All Black Americans come from West Africa.
I'm gonna say like the historical records show that 90% of us come from West Africa.
Would you agree that when you look at anthropology and things like that, they do study features?
Yeah.
Okay. When I look at some of the West Africans, a lot of Black Americans in the southern region, do not look like them at all.
The reason for that would be mixing.
All right, so he said the reason why all Black Americans don't look alike because of the mixing, right? So what I just want to understand is this, right? Why don't all Africans look alike? All Africans are not black, or well, are not highly melanated. So this brother said the reason why we don't look like Africans is because we've been mixed. Now look at this brother right here. Now you think this brother right here been mixed? You think he's mixed with something? You understand what I'm saying? As well as Lord Alba, as well as Garfield, as well as Shanetta, as well as these. I mean, listen, like I told you, the one like us, because I'm light skinned. So light skinned Americans, let's put like this, right? Or well, I'm like brown skin. So let's say, like, all right, if you're like brown skin, right? That means that you got European in you, which some of us probably do got Europeans. Because if you look at a lot of the tribes had at least one or two white people in it. Them people was not indigenous. Them was people who ran away that possibly were slaves or people who they took into their tribes. Okay? Now, when you look at these tribes in North America today, they're all mixed. They all look, none of them look alike. So what is the origin of the tribes? This is what I just want to know. What is the origins of some of these tribes in which we see? Because none of them look alike. You got some of them that's black. You got some of them that's white. You got some of them that looks like these Mongoloid. Who is the original people in them tribes? Is the question in which what we must come down to, because we know the original people of the tribe are not Europeans. So when and where did they come into the tribes? Because no Europeans is indigenous to this land. I know some people probably think that, but no European is indigenous to this land. The only reason why you see Europeans and you see these Mexicans, these Spaniards, and all these people in North America is because they came here on a conquest. That's it. They are not indigenous to this land. Now they left their genes here. That's the reason why we got so-called Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, we got all these other like Guatemalans and all these other people or whatever though. But in all them towns, in all them cities, in all them states or countries or whatever you consider them to be, you can always find a brother who looks just like him. Okay, so let's take a look at this, right? So this is what I found. Let me see. All right. Now I want to look up the Bushmen, because they said, according to all the research I have done, they said the Bushmen is the first inhabitant of Africa. Now let's read this, and let's see what the Bushmen are, and let's see what the Bushmen looks like. Now I couldn't find no sources, but this is um, just a brief article or whatever. But I'm not even going to go really far into it. But I'm just going to read right here. It's a tribe of Africa, Nambia. They say the Bushmen, San. They say the San tribe is one of the most intriguing people in the world. They say are the most intriguing people in this world. They say are the regions earliest inhabitant. It is estimated that they have been living here for the last 30,000 plus years, and are still settled in many places of southern Africa. So South Africa. It said the Sand people are the first people of Africa. This means the Sands are descendants of the first people who ever lived here before black or white people migrated into Africa region. Now hold up. Now let's take a look at that. It says before black or white people migrated into the Africa region. Now I have heard stories that stated that the people in Africa is not the original people there. Now I know people gonna get at me for saying this or whatever, but I heard that the African people are not really from that area of that world. Now it says the Sand people are the first people of Africa. Now, let me get show you, because I know most of y'all already know, right? Let me see. No, it's this one right here. So now look, these are the Sand people right here. These are the Bushmen, okay? Now let's take a look at this. See these people? These are the Bushmen. These are what they considered to be the first inhabitants of Africa, according to the article, according to the research in which I got. Now let's take a look at this brother right here, these people. Now, these people are clearly from South Africa, right? Now you see how he look? Now look at these people. Now they don't look alike. I mean, they got similar features, right? They got similar features, but the question is, look, they're much darker than the Bushmen. They're way more darker than the Bushmen. So why are these not the original people? Oh, I know that's just a different tribe, but I'm just going according to skin texture, because this is what all these people go by. They all go by, oh, the darker you are, the more melanated you are, the more like your genes had not been compromised. So if this is the first African right here, right? Now let's take a look at him. You see the Bushman? Now let's take a look at my man right here. Look. Let me see. Hold on. I was right here. So you see the Bushman. Let's take a look at him. He don't look like a traditional Africa. But when you go into, let me see, West African, I'm gonna look for South Africa. So when you go into your images of South Africans, he kind of look a little bit like Nelson Mandela, if you look at him. Now, look at Nelson Mandela. Let's take a look at Nelson Mandela. Take a look at Nelson Mandela. Now, Nelson Mandela is not the darkest African that I've ever seen. He's not the darkest African, but so my question is this to the brother from the Dagger Squad: is Nelson Mandela mixed? Do he have white people in his family? Do he have white people in his family? And I'm gonna find you some more black people who the same complexion as the brother right here. Now look, this brother right here clearly said that the reason why African Americans don't look like, let me see. He said African Americans don't look like Nigerians. Now, these are your different Nigerians, some of your different tribes or whatever, or what they got. Let me see. Okay. Alright, so these are some of the different people of Nigeria, right? Now, of course, we ain't going to have the same facial features because we living in two different regions of the world. So that's what you got to always understand. The reason why the Africans got high cheekbones because of the sun. It's simple as that, because of the sun, and there is no shade. There's not like a lot of Canada. There's not a lot of trees in Africa like there is in North America. So that's the reason why they got very high cheekbones, because they constantly squinching because of the sun. Now look, now check this out. Now them are just some of the people from Nigeria, right? Now look, these are some Nigerians too. Now this sister right here can look like an African American. I'm starting to think that a lot of these people came from America, because we do believe that the American slave trade went in reverse. When they came here, they took people to West Africa as well. This is what I've been told. You understand? It ain't happened. They took people from Africa to America. No, they took people from the Americas to Europe as well as Africa. And people don't even understand this shit because they too busy listening to all these Afrocentric and these black scholars that was funded by the CIA to where they can't even. And then when they do run across information like that, all they do is try to find as much information to basically, you know what I'm saying, debunk that as far as finding information to prove it and to say, all right, well, this is something I never heard before. And this is very interesting. Like that people was taken from America to West Africa and in Europe. I mean, in Europe as well as Spain and Portugal. All right, so look. So we see these Nigerians right here, right? Now let's take a look at this brother. See this brother color? He's actually darker than them. Now we do know that some Nigerians bleach and all the other shit, but let's look at some more. Let's look at some more of it. So these are some images of some of your Nigerians. Let's see what this is. I ain't see this. So it say 20 African tribes well known. So now these are 20 different African tribes, right? According to what they say. These are 20 different African tribes. Now let's take a look at these people, right? Now, this person, let me see if I can find somebody who resembles African American. See, I can tell this by the eyes. African Americans don't, a lot of us don't look. This brother right here can look like a so-called native, maybe. I don't know, maybe him, maybe her, or whatever though. But look at their skin texture. So you telling me that the reason why these people right here, they not dark black like South, well, some Africans, because I see some Africans who are, like I said, very black. But then when we look in the continent of Africa, all the people of Africa, most of the tribes look like this. You know, understand what I'm saying? So now look at this brother right here. So he's saying that the reason why we don't look like Nigerians is because we mix. So what is he mixed with? And another question, what is they mixed with? What do they got in them? So they got white people in their family too, because they not very dark. But this is the fucking stuff that these people tell us. They tell us the reason why we clearly, my brother is this complexion right here. So we clearly got people who don't have no European in them, but yet these idiots keep saying the reason we don't look like them, is because we mix. And that shit is stupid. That shit is very stupid and very weird to me, man. You understand? So now let me just take a look. Now let me show you something. Now these are just some pictures I put up. Now this is what the fuck is his name? Hold up. Let me see something. Hold up. Hold up for a second. Bear with me, people. Looking for an image. Let me see if I can find it. Alright, this is the image I'm looking for right here. Chief Mouthpad. That's his name. Chief Mouthpad. Now this is the same image of the same person right here. This is Chief Mouthpad too. Now take a look at Chief Mouthpad now. Now let's take a look at him. Boom. Now let's look at some of the Nigerians. Now it's clearly he don't look nothing like them, but if we placed him in Africa, you would think that he was an African. If we placed him in Africa and we cut his hair off, you would think that he was an African. You know, that ain't even the point I'm trying to make, though. My point is, I'm not even trying to make that point. My point, what I was trying to make was that you got a lot of these African study jokers. They always say that the reason why African Americans don't look entirely like Africans because we've been mixed. But when you go to the Bushmen the Bushman doesn't even look like your traditional, what you would consider, well, what we consider to be an African. The Bushman doesn't even look like what we consider to be an African. Especially, look at this brother right here. Now, we seen this brother right here. What would you say? Would you say he's mixed with something? Or would you say he's 100% African as of what we've been told what Africans is? What about her right here? Would you say she's 100% African? Or would you say she's been mixed with something? What about her right here? Would you say she's 100% African? Or would you say she's been mixed with something? These are just the questions that I want to know. Now let's take a look at some more of their people. Now these are so-called the Bush people, right? Now look at them. Look at them. They like brown skin. None of them, and some of them are light skin. Look at her right here. So this sister right here say trip down memory lane and say the Bush people and say the world's most ancient race. So you telling me this is the Bush people, right? So why don't they look like traditional let me see something. Now look. These are West Africans. Now, let's take a look at some of these West Africans. Now these are West Africans. Now look. Well, you see the Bushmen. Some of them not West Africans, but the majority of them are. Let's see what this is right here. So it's a Fulani girl of West Africa. Now look at her. Now you take a look at her. So she's mixed with something. Because there's plenty of African American women who is her complexion. There's plenty of African American men that's her complexion. That's not mixed with nothing. That we consider to be mixed. Or we would say, oh well, she got white in her because she's not as dark as this African right here. She's not as dark as this African right here. You understand what I'm saying? Now you see this African right here, right? But now we would look at this lady right here and say, oh, she's the original, she's the first African. But no, she's not the first African. Because they saying that they the world's most ancient race. These people right here, they saying these are the world's most ancient race. So where did these people come from? Where did these people come from? If the original Africans was not very dark, where did the dark-skinned Africans come from? Where did the dark-skinned Africans come from? And this to prove something to all you idiots, because none of you motherfuckers ask this question. All the people in Africa do not look alike. So you cannot compare African or so-called Aboriginal Americans to Africans, because none of the people in Africa even look alike. All of the different countries in Africa, all of them look different. All of them look different. Now, look, let me see something. Like I said, these are pictures, man, and these are the majority. Now look at this brother right here. This is a Mali. I believe he's from Mali. Oh no, he's a Fulani. Now look at his nose. Look at his nose. He ain't got wide nose. So where did these people come from? Where did these people come from? Because all these Africans do not look alike. All of the Africans do not look alike. So how the hell you gonna say because African Americans, some are light, some are not very dark or whatever, that they mix with European? We know that some of us are mixed with European, but not all of us. Not all of us. And that would be a crazy statement to say everybody, they say 45 million, it's supposed to be 45 million so-called African Americans, which we know that the numbers probably double that or whatever. But nonetheless, though, they saying that 45 million so-called African Americans are mixed with Europeans. That's bullshit. You understand? Now look, West Africans. These are West Africans, right? Now look. You see how light she is compared to the rest of them? So she got white in her. That's the reason why she's not as dark as the rest of these people. Because these are the questions. This is the stupidity in which that these people be saying. The reason why African Americans don't look like Africans because we mixed. No, look. Now this sister right here could be an African American. You understand? She could be an African American. Now look. Go some more Africans. Look at her. She's not very dark like them. You know, this is the questions that people need to address. People need to address that. They always say, well, we don't look like these people. Well, guess what? These people don't look like these people. They don't look. Let me see, hold up now. Is that it? No, let me see. Oh no, that's good. They don't look like them. They don't look like them. They saying that these are the world's most ancient race, right? So where did these Africans right here come from? If these were the first Africans, if these were so-called the first Africans or the first people on the continent of Africa, where did these Africans come from? That's what I want to know. Where did these Africans come from? And why do all of the people and the different people in Africa look different? And ain't none of them. So you telling me that this lady right here, so you telling me that this lady right here it got European in them? Now all these people got European in them? Look at the baby. Look. So you're saying that this baby got European in him? That's the reason why he's not as dark as, let me see. He's not as dark as this baby right here. But look at Nelson Mandela. He's a South African. He's a South African. And take a look at Nelson Mandela. And look at, if you look at the Bush people, Nelson Mandela looked just like him. Nelson Mandela looked just like him. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you look at his wife, Winnie, we don't know whether or not she bleached or not. Maybe she might have bleached. But at the end of the day, she don't look like, she don't look very dark like a South African either. And that's the thing, man. Take a look at Nelson Mandela. Take a look at him. And then take a look at the Bush people. Look at Nelson Mandela. Look at the Bush people. Look at the Bush people. Say hi to them. Now, like I said, man, all Africans do not look alike. So we don't know who the original. They said that the Bush people was the original African. Now look at this sister right here. Look at her right here. Now, let me just take some images. Look at some images. Now look, they look like African Americans. I'm starting to think that the West Africans came from here, came from America, bro. This is what I'm starting to think. I'm starting to think that these people from West Africa came from North America. I'm telling you, this is what I'm starting to think, man. Because look, let's take a look. Now these are some. Now look, now they can easily look like. Well, this sister right here, all of these, they can look like African Americans. Okay, now. I don't know, man. This shit is crazy when you really look at it, because it's hard to really pinpoint or really hard to get a real good understanding of what happened, because all these niggas talk about haplogroups and talk about all this other shit, but you can't explain a lot of this shit, because according to these so-called black scholars, they will tell you that you have to be this dark skin right here to be the original man. Right, so they're saying you have to be this dark or as dark as these people right here to be the original people, right? But yet the original people of Africa looks like this. This is the original people of Africa. These are the original people of Africa. So if these are the original people of Africa, how the fuck did they get like this? How did they get so dark? And you got so many different cultures, because I think that these people came from different parts of the world, man. I mean, maybe I'm reaching with this, but I'm gonna tell you like this: none of y'all can give me a definitive explanation to what really happened. None of y'all. Shoot this sister. Now look, beautiful Zulu tradition. I don't know if this might be an African American acting like that, but she looked like an African American. Well, she could look like one too. But, you know, like I said, man, none of y'all can even get with that or even explain it. None of y'all can, you know what I'm saying? All these brothers out here. Now look at some of the tribes. Look at some of the tribes of Africa. Look how light, look how copper color these people are in the back right here, the women. Look how light the women is, the copper color women or whatever. Now, my thing is this, right? What I'm trying to figure out is, if all Africans are very dark, why do they have women obviously in Africa who look just like African American? Now hold up. I'm not comparing us to the to Africans. I'm just telling you that if all Africans are supposed to be, let me see something. Let's see. I'm gonna go back. Hold up, people. Now look. Now all these people are not very black. So where do these people come from? This is the question I want to know. Where do these people come from? All these people are not very black. So where did they come from? Look at the kids. Now why these kids are not, now that's what I'm saying, man. Like, these niggas need to knock this shit off because they can't prove shit. You can't prove nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look. Now look at her. She ain't very dark. She ain't as black as this brother. You understand what I'm saying? What they would sit here and tell you. They would sit here and tell you that. Now look how dark skinned this brother is right here. But do that mean, oh, because he the darkest, that he's the original African? No, because they, according to genealogy, they telling you that these are the original Africans. So I want to know, how did the fucking Africans get? Let me see. I want to know how the Africans get very dark like this. And since these niggas, the Ahmed Ra squad and the Dagger squad, since they dealing with scholarships so much, why are these the first motherfucking humans or whatever, or the first Africans or whatever? And you saying that? Remember what this nigga said. Just remember what he said. Right here.
All black Americans come from West Africa.
I'm gonna say, like, the historical records show that 90% of us come from West Africa.
Would you agree that when you look at anthropology and things like that, they do study features? Okay. When I look at some of the West Africans, a lot of black Americans in the southern region, do not look like them at all.
The reason for that
Well,
would
there you
be
go.
mixing.
The mixing.
So, understand that.
So remember that. Remember what he said. Now, let me show you some images of, let me see something. Let's see what the hell this is. You know what? Hold on, let me go right here. Alright, hold up. That's not what I was looking for. Alright, hold up. Now this is George Bonga right here. Now they keep on saying that he was an Indian, right? Now look at this brother right here. He's a so-called African American, right? But when you read his, see, this is how they lie to you. Now let me just gonna read who George Bonga was. It say George Bonga, August 20th, 1802 to 1880. It say was a black Indian fur trader. All right, so let's stop there. It say they specified him, said he was a black Indian fur trader. It said one of the first people of African descent born in the Northwest Territory that later became the state of Mississippi. The state of Minnesota. He was the second son of an African American father, Pierre Bonga. Now listen, how they gonna call it? First of all, to be an Indian, or according to what I know, that means you're indigenous to one landmass. Okay. You're not an Indian if you can't just change. You can't be from another country and then just change and say, "Oh, I'm an Indian. I'm an Indian." No. So how did he become a? See how they just be lying about shit. But nonetheless, though, I found this interesting when I was looking some of this stuff up. I'm gonna actually do something on him or whatever if I can find enough information. or whatever. Now it's a African Minnesota. They calling this brother a damn Indian, but yet they want to tell you that he's he's an African. Oh man, yeah, this is funny as hell, yo. But you know, hold up. Now look, these are some African Americans from the early 20s, man, from the 19, because this is what you got to go back to and look at some of these people or whatever. You can't look at the people. Well, then again, I can look at the people of today and tell a difference now, but you got to go back and look at some of these, look at some of our people from the early days, man, because this would tell a lot, man. This is you gonna learn a lot more from looking at a lot of these early blacks and black Americans than you could from looking at shit now. Because a lot of these people have not been compromised, and they tell you that all black people is mixed. Now these are black Americans in the 1900s. So you telling me that they're mixed? So you telling me that these people right here are mixed? You telling me that these sisters right here is mixed too? This is what you telling me? Well, Bonzi, I don't know where the fuck that's at. Hold up. Let me stick to the script, make sure I'm on point. I don't want to be clicking on none of this shit. And, you know what I'm saying? Look, Martin Luther King. So you telling me Martin Luther King is mixed? Martin Luther King got white people in him? You know what I'm saying? Listen, I meet so many African Americans who don't look like they got any European in them. You understand? But yet you got this guy who will sit there and tell you, oh, the reason you look like that because you got European in you. You know, you understand? Now we know some of us, we know some of the high yellow people or whatever. Yeah, we know that some of them got European. We know that some of us was tampered with. But at the same time, we know that, you see this sister right here? You think this sister right here is mixed? Look at Madam C.J. Walker. You think these sisters right here is mixed? And this is Indian hair, by the way. By the way, this is Indian hair. You see her hair? This is how your hair would look. This is how if you let your hair grow out, this is how your hair will look. And you will also have waves in it, and this is how your hair will look. You know, I'm going off a topic, man. But I definitely wanted to touch on that shit, man, because don't let these so-called African scholars, man, mislead you people, man. Now look at these brothers and sisters. They all dark skinned. Some of you got a little couple light skinned ones in here, but the majority of them is dark skinned. Now, this is from the 1900s. This is the people you want to look at. You don't want to look at the ones like from now. You know what I'm saying? Because we know there is a lot of interracial. There have been a lot of interracial dating and shit going on. So there is a lot of mulatto or whatever though. But as you look through it, like, let me see something. Sister right here. Let's see. Sisters right here. Black hair history. It says discoverable. Now, like I told you, this is how your hair will really look. This is Indian hair right here. This is real Indian hair right here. Okay? But nonetheless though, man, I'm about to end this video. This shit been a long video. But I mean, some of y'all, man, definitely comment on this, man, because like I said, man, you know, it's no way, you know what I'm saying? And we know a joker like Huey Newton, we know that he got European up in his family somewhere. We know that. But a brother like Bobby Seale, we can't really tell. But you can say because he's not as dark as, because he's not as dark. Now, these are South African people. Look at them. They look copper colored too. Okay? Now look. He is not as dark as these people right here. Like I said. Now, like I said, we would think that these are the original South Africans. I mean, these are the original Africans. But no. This is the original African. The Bushman. They say this is the first man. So how did they go from looking like this to looking like this? And I'm a Rock Squad. I'm no Dagger Squad. Comment on this shit. You tell me. Since y'all know so much, you know so much about genealogy, how did they go from looking like this to looking like this? To being this complexion, to being dark like this? And where did all these numerous different Africans come from? Or you want to say the sunlight? Or you want to say because the sun is different in certain parts, which I can't agree with, because the sun will make you like an evolution process in which your body will produce more melatonin or melanocytes to make you darker. That do sound correct, but at the same time, these people right here sitting directly in the sun. So we don't know if they evolved into these people, but these people still around. So obviously, the evolution process. Where did these people come from? Where did the dark skinned South Africans come from? If the first person or the first Africans was the so-called Bushmen, or these people right here, you understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, I'm gonna end this video, man. You know, definitely comment, like, leave your comments up there or whatever though. But this is something that I find interesting, because like you got all these black African scholars who always, and then you got a lot of these people who would look at, because you might be light brown skin, that means you're like a nigga like Minister Inky. Because if a person is dark as Minister Inky, he's not an original man. So this is the original African. So this person is not as dark as Inky, or as dark as or dark as, I'm gonna say, even polite. You understand what I'm saying? But nonetheless though, man, where did these people come from? Since these are the earliest inhabitants in Africa, where did these, let me see, hold up. These is West Africans. Now, like I told you, the West Africans kind of look like African Americans. You understand? They kind of look like African Americans. I'm thinking that they came from over here. That's what I'm thinking. But my thing is, where did all these numerous different looking Africans come from? Where did they come from? Where did they come from? And you see these brothers right here, right? They would say, "Oh, this is the original African. This is what the original African looked like." No, they saying this is what the original African looked like. So my brother who made that comment, yo man, you way off. I don't think it has nothing to do with how dark you are, or whether or not you are the first African, or whether or not you can tell who been mixed and who haven't been. You can tell who been mixed according to, some people, like I said, are light skinned. So the light skinned people, you definitely can tell who's mixed, you know what I'm saying? Man, this shit taking forever to load. So you definitely, like I said, man, you look at this brother right here, he look just like I'm not comparing us to them. I'm just comparing the color, the color of some of the people in Africa. That's all I'm doing. I'm not saying, I don't believe that we came from Africa, but I'm just comparing the skin texture to some of the Africans. Okay? Even Obama can look like a damn Bushman, and we know he got a white mother. You understand what I'm saying? But like I said, this is just because these people are the blackest and these people are the darkest, this shit doesn't mean that they the first Africans. They telling you that these are the first Africans. So I'm gonna leave with my man and well, I guess my computer bugging right now, so I am going to end it with this, man. But definitely, man, y'all do some research on this. If the first African was a caramel, copper colored person, then where did the dark skinned Africans come from? So with that being said, I'm the Tontonist one, and I'm out. Peace.